if you come in with a friend. If your friend teaches you to play and isn't just beating you up, but is playing alongside you, it's like we think that's like the most amazing learning opportunity ever. And then you'll push through the hard shit because you have someone to take care of it, with, look into it with you and kind of look out for you. And like fighting games are fun. The way they are, they're great. We just need to be able to show people them. And this is like how we show them. You know?
I mean, honestly, from my standpoint, the fact that you can have a certain, like, 2 people play both characters, I was thinking about that and I was like, that's so genius, because even if you spend all your time learning one character, if you have a friend, especially, I mean, let's face it, you've got Tom and Tony on the team. We know the netcode's going to be good. I'm not even going to bother. It's going to be good. So you can play with your friends and you don't even have to learn multiple characters if you just play with your friends.
You got it.
And of course, look, I didn't make it very far in League of Legends. I never even got teleport warp or whatever. Like I think I got to like level 11 or something.
That's something.
But the point was, I had friends to carry me, right? So that's the main thing. And so having that in this game, I think, is such a brilliant idea.
For sure. And we've all been there with fighting games where you really, really love a title and you try to get your friends into it, and you're like walking that line between how do I like get them into it without being too harsh or anything like that. And that's sort of like a big motivator. You can finally play with your friends and lift them up in a way.
It's cool. It like really bridges that gap of going for, because you can get your friend in, and then eventually the transition for them to go to 1v1 if they want to. It's just really, really
it's like fly the nest.
We could say a duo if you want, or
and not only that too, but I mean, like, this is like, my brain just does this all the time, but like, if you have a friend that's learning fighting games, you can start as the point, have them help, and then eventually be, hey, you start at point, and I'll help you. And now they kind of carry a little bit, the load a little bit more, and that helps them grow. But at the end, you can come in and save them and stuff. So.
Totally.
Or on the other side, maybe the student surpasses the master, and they're carrying you, and that's what I dream of.
Okay.
Honestly.
Now, since you are here, Vineeth, I'm going to ask him a question. My secret question is, which character is the cheapest in this game right now? So I'm going to ask Vineeth this question right here. Who's your favorite character?
I love Ari. For no particular reason. My favorite character, honestly, is Ari. I really enjoy her air movement. And I like her resource management of her Foxfires, the 3 Foxfires. So I think from like the first time I got my hands on this game, I really fell in love with the character.
Nice.
So yeah, I still think that's the case today.
That's sick. It's really nice to see, like, when we ask people who their favorite character is, it splits pretty evenly, which is kind of, it feels great, right? These are our first 4 characters that are like at this level of completion, and it's like so nice that people are everyone's finding someone they love and that they're different.
And this is one of the things that makes fighting games so wonderful. The connection that a player gains with their character is like a lifetime thing, right?
We talk about that so much.
You don't see other, like, I mean, it happens in other genres, but I feel like in fighting games, like, you will become the Cammy fan for your whole entire life. Like, everybody knows me as the Cammy player. I played her because she was bad in a game, and I just wanted to be that guy to beat everybody up, so...
You're one of those. I didn't realize.
I was a low-tier hero because I wanted to beat people up with a bad character so I could flex on them, basically. But then it just turned out that she's now, like, kind of like, I called it like a war buddy. You've gone to battle with this character so much, and fighting games have that magic that allows you to do that, and it's such a reflection on personality that it actually doesn't surprise me at all that you have an even balance of which is their favorite character, because it's just going to be depending on who you are, You
know that image of like Taquito standing in front of Akuma? I can't tell you how many internal slide decks we have with that image on it. Just like trying to explain to people who might not know fighting games as well, like this relationship between the player and the character is so fundamental.
Dude, why don't you just put a slide that just has pack the flip and chip?
Yeah, for real, right? Why not just show that on screen, right? Or just have him walk into the room holding like a chip doll or something.
Yeah, exactly. I think everybody will understand at that point.
Exactly.
So. But I mean, curiously, just from, obviously the Tom and Tony came from making, from Radiant, and they were making Rising Thunder. That's the name right there. I mean, is this game, like, I'm delving into super dead questions here, like now. But like, what kind of like? Did you guys create an engine from scratch? Are you guys?
Oh, this is all from scratch.
Really?
Yeah. You know, obviously there are lessons learned. And look, I want to be clear. I joined after the Radiant acquisition, so I came on straight into what was Project L early on. But so I didn't see that transition point.
Right.
But they're like, no, we're building it all again. And it ended up so different that it's a good thing that it did, right? Like there's one button specials, but like if you look at these two games side by side, like there are only a few things that really are shared, I think. I don't know how much y'all played Rising Thunder. But
I played a little bit.
Yeah,
So
cool.
I'm going to ask Beneath this question here. I asked Aaron, and he gave the political answer. So I want to see who's the best in the office right now.
Oh, damn.
Man. I feel like I got asked this like a lot, but I think it's me, personally. I don't know.
Fighting game player right here. Fighting game player right here. Right here.
I'm gonna at least say that's like a a valid answer. Like no one would be like that's bullshit. You know what I mean? Like someone might dispute and be like it's this other person, but no one's gonna be like wrong.
Yeah.
There's a lot of really I feel like Steve is really good
at this
Steve
game.
is
He's
so good.
Steve was a professional Street Fighter player back in the day, and he made this jump. You like tag games before, right?
Oh, of course. I mean, I cut my teeth on Marvel 3 and Street Fighter, and just having a love. Like we were talking about this the other day. Like Magneto coming in and be like, "For mutant card." Like there's just so much love, and this is for so many titles.
Yeah, for sure.
In the genre. But sort of in that same vein, James, for that question. One of my favorite parts about this game is seeing like everyone in the office. And there are strong players, like Beneath is super strong. We have a ton of really strong players, but everyone's constantly like adapting and learning new tech and learning from each other. That I feel like on any given day, it could be a different answer.
Totally. Everyone's getting. I feel like every single day we improve. Like our like the team and everyone I play with improves so much. That's just a testament to like how much depth the game has.
This is actually like a lot of people. Casual people who are into fighting games and stuff, and they play fighting games, they don't think about this kind of aspect here. This is one of the hardest things. I mean, I'm going to talk about balance here, right? Like, how do you balance a game when you have a guy like Marlon Pie who just like does the most ridiculous combos, this kind of thing? Like, how do you decide what's broken in the game or if it's just Beneath is broken? Like, how do you figure that out,
It's pretty wild because you're kind of designing multiple games at once, all of which have like the same tools, right? Like the game that a new player is playing is totally different than the game an intermediate player is playing, totally different than an expert player. And you're kind of having to think about all of those in parallel when you're even tuning a single move, right? You're like, okay, who's going to react into this and in what way? What tools are they going to be using? And then you're making adjustments often to hit, like trying to only hit one of these targets at a time, How do we make this thing weaker for Beneath in a way that it can still be used by, an intermediate player, And it's just a lot of focus and thinking and hard work, honestly. Like there's no secret.
And it's a lot of like communication. I feel like the whole team has like so much feedback. We're like constantly talking about the game. And I honestly think it leads to like some like pretty good decisions.
And since the game analysis team joined, which is Beneath and Aaron and Don and Josh recently.
You can't even. It's impossible to overstate the impact.
We've watched. Their whole job is they just play the game all day and analyze it and tell us like
what's too strong.
Like what does it mean to play this game at a high level in a way like we don't have time to play it all day. When he says, "Hey, everyone's getting better really fast," he means the four of them because they're playing 8 hours a day.
No, I mean everybody. Come on.
But like I played Dawn the other day, like a couple weeks ago, Yohozi, and I was just like, "What the fuck is happening?" Like I just like something happened in a few days since the last time I played her. I was like, "Oh no." I have to like rethink this. That happens all the time with these folks.
And it's interesting too because I've often said if you're developing a fighting game, if you are the creators of the fighting game, and when the game comes out, you know 100% what every character can do. You've made a bad fighting game.
100% agree with you. Yeah, absolutely.
And part of that is honestly just being comfortable with, almost like the unknown. In a way, like we have a rough idea, like maybe we know 60, 70%. But like the players are always going, because our players are incredible.
Right.
They're always going to dig deeper. find more. And that's just part of the job.
The analogy I think about is like, you know, imagine you're like, you're making a Lego set that you want to sell, right? Whatever, like, you know, a Star Wars ship or something, right? Okay, cool. You're making the ship, but you're also thinking about like, okay, what are the pieces in here? So they fit together nice in the ship, but also people take this home and they make their own ships with it, right? And you want both of those to feel good, you know? And we really are thinking that way. We're like, okay, this tool, we know this goes into this, but we're going to leave a little room in here to see what else people figure out.
Sure.
I mean, I'll just to go straight with your analogy.
Yeah.
One of the only like I got myself a Lego Optimus Prime recently, and that thing is just amazing, and it's wonderful. And it's made out of actual Lego pieces. Like, you would think that it would have to be very specific pieces, but they figured out how to do it, and that is the beautiful part of it, right? Letting people building something great out of something that they can use to build other things.
Or you just build a house out of the Optimus Prime. I did that as a kid all the time. Nice. Or mostly because I lost all the Legos all the time.
But, you know, to your point about like, you know, why, you know, talking to the community so much and hearing from people, like, the only reason why we get to do this, why we get to make it, you know, a little loose and, like Steve said, kind of just like have some faith and try stuff, is because we know we'll find out if we mess up, right? Like, it's a little scary, but you're like, we can fix it, you know, we bring it to you, we figure it out, and we make it better.
So how much have the four of you on you know, just playing the game? How often have you gotten to the point where you're like, hey, did you know these characters can do this? And you can just see the devs just like their face just kind of like, you know, it's like, what the heck is that? You know?
I'm gonna be honest, like almost like every day.
Yeah, literally.
It really feels like that.
We are drowning in it.
No.
There's this little emoji of it's like the sad blob, and it's like this blob who's doubled over with a frowny face. And every time it's like, hey, there's this game-breaking bug, I'm just like slamming that sad blob. It's so helpful though, truly. Just having like this group of dedicated, super strong players dissecting and analyzing, it's paramount.
And I like love labbing fighting games.
That's why you're here.
So it's just it's just fun to do.
I mean, honestly, a lot of the guys that you have here are the scientists, right?
Yeah, it's not a coincidence.
Marlon Pie, yourself,
totally.
Don, you know, like all you guys are scientists. And it's interesting, too, because, you know, I'm going to get into, like, the fighting game philosophy and stuff.
All right.
You know, I'm a firm believer in this concept that fighting games have different facets to them, like a heart, body, and mind. This is a thing that Laugh created a long time ago. An old Korean player, and so, like, for example, one of the reasons why I say a lot of old school players don't like Street Fighter V as much, because that game is a much stronger mind game. It's about memorizing frame data, and like older Street Fighter games were about heart, and it's just like decision making and letting people just, you know what, I'm gonna Dragon Punch right here because I feel like it, you know. And is that kind of something that you guys think about when you make this game, trying to make it so that it appeals to all the different audiences?
Yeah, we've talked about, I mean, and again, I don't know that, like, we talked about this idea of like head, heart, hands, which is kind of the same idea you're talking about for a long time. I don't know that we think about that as like for different audiences. People like, you know, they emphasize different aspects of it, but I don't think anyone's really going to enjoy a fighting game unless they're feeling all three of those in some measure. You know?
I feel like it's never like one fully, right? It's like
a ratio.
It's like a different amount of each one, right?
Because I mean, honestly, because like there are some people, like I know you, for example. I've often said, like, you know, there's that generic question. You're going to a deserted island